Nation on X says, collective shout interview. Steam's sexual violence game defenders are abusers in real life. I know we're going too good into the story. We're going to go a lot deeper. But guys, when I read this headline, I was like, this perfectly encapsulates everything wrong with special interest activists, that they have this perception of what the other side is. And this is like peeking into their lack of soul, where they're just like, oh, this is everyone defending it is an abuser in real life. I don't know about everyone else, and you can believe me or not. I don't care really. I am not an abuser. I will defend this stuff to exist until the day I die. So what do they have to say about that? That really kind of shoots some holes into their theory that everyone that defends this stuff is some sort of weirdo, sick sadomasochist that just wants to see people suffer. It's like, no, I want to see creativity flow in artistic works. Very different. Collective Shout's campaign prompted Visa and Mastercard to pressure Steam into removing adult games depicting sexual violence against women, raising ethical concerns about glorifying abuse. Stricter content policies aiming to protect women from harmful media while sparking debate on censorship and platform responsibility. So this is an interview that is a very curious one. It comes to us from this guy right here, Jack Connor, who is a tech and science journalist at Tweaktown, which before today I've never heard of, but apparently it has about 25,000 followers or more on X. I interviewed Collective Shout about the recent banning of adult games on Steam and the fallout that has occurred. And here is the link. And we got V, who is fucking awesome. Love V. Awesome. Now can you interview Madame Savvy as well? Because I'll tell you what they forgot to mention. One, the rape games they complained about were barely popular until they made them popular. Some of the banned games were shovelware and barely had 20 people playing. The main issue is that they justify censoring the internet using payment processors that are unaccountable, undemocratic, and are now normalizing the idea that an activist can just pressure a bank to crack down on something that is illegal. Two, the idea that rape shouldn't exist in fiction, which this one is crazy to me. Why is it okay in movies, but yet in gaming, it's some sort of, oh, it's horrible, that shouldn't ever be a part of it? Why? Why? Oh, kids play games. Do kids play mature rated games? No, I didn't think so. Then what's the problem? Once again, they never have answers to this. They just want to block and cry victim when people hit them with facts and reality. It really depends on how the subject matter is treated. No, Game of Thrones had ample amounts of rape and is the bestseller. 50 Shades of Grey, a book that Collective Shout also went against, is beloved by many women. Most people don't feel strongly about rape games being banned, but the idea that certain themes shouldn't exist anywhere on the planet because some Australian grifters don't like it is mental. 3, they faked their own abuse. It's well documented and community noted that some abuse that they presented was from themselves to themselves, which is factually true. And I covered that in a previous video where they got community noted and caught with the domain of the email address not being a real one. This is an activist group that makes money from donations. It is in their self-interest to appear victimized as to do the tactic called sympathy farming. TLDR, people aren't upset because of some rape games. People are upset that payment processors get to say what type of legal fiction is allowed and which isn't. And these payment processors control 80% of the world's online finance, which I think you could even go higher than that, but that's being kind. And then this is the story of the actual interview. Collective Shout interview. Steam's sexual violence game defenders are abusers in real life. That's the headline. Collective Shout has responded to the global controversy about the removal of thousands of adult games from Steam and Visa and Mastercard's responsibility. And here's the TLDR. Let's focus on this. Collective Shout's campaign led payment processors, Visa and MasterCard, to pressure Steam into removing adult games depicting sexual violence against women, highlighting ethical concerns over glorifying abuse. This shift enforces stricter content policies aiming to protect women from harmful media while sparking debate on censorship and platform responsibility. Which I can tell you straight up, he just said, hey, ChatGPT, give me a TLDR. Nobody has a human right to simulate and enact fantasies of rape and extreme violence against women. Caitlin Roper, the campaigns manager at Collective Shout, explained in a recent email interview with me. This is mental. This is absolutely insane. It's like full disclosure, I've not read through this whole thing yet, because I just want to save for authentic reaction on the stream. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. These people are actually crazier than I gave them credit for. Nobody has a human right to simulate and enact fantasy. So she has, in her own mind, she has the obligation to stop people from doing these things, because in her mind, she is virtuous and true and right. And everyone else is the problem and wrong. Interesting. Again, a very theological approach to things. Not being able to access rape games from popular gaming platforms is a minor inconvenience, not a violation of a person's rights. I have so many questions. Number one, what about the actual rights of the developer and the money and time that they spent making that game? What about their rights that you are now impeding on and imposing? What about them? Because it's not just the gamers that can't access these games. You are now threatening the livelihood of developers that many of them for years have been making these games that overnight could be shut down because of this. And what about the up and coming indie developers or people that are making a game right now and have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on these games just to build up to the release point of, oh, wait, it's not allowed to exist anymore because these crazy lefty lunatic white Karen feminists in Australia have determined that they are the arbiter of truth when it comes to what's allowed to exist and what's not. Payment processors get to determine if they do. No, they don't. No, they don't. This is wrong. This is the problem. They don't get to determine this. They are the payment processor. Local laws, rules, and regulations are what determines what can be sold and what isn't, not the payment processor. We don't need an additional layer of red tape on top of what's already a very strict society. Thank you, though. Including rape, sexual violence, incest, child sexual abuse, exploitation, and bestiality. Why these things? And this is why the LGBT group of people are on board with fighting back against Collective Shout, because they see this. They see this right now of, oh, okay, so they're deciding these things. They're cherry picking what's not okay. Rape's not okay. Sexual violence not okay. Incest is not okay. Child sexual abuse is not okay. Exploitation is not okay. Bestiality is not okay. Oh, bestiality is not okay. Okay. What about gay people? Oh, they're okay. Okay. What about trans people, though? Are you allowed to put trans in a game? Or is that not okay? I'm just trying to follow this gray area, this line you're trying to draw through it on what's okay and what's not. Because I'm having a really hard time figuring out the ethical decision-making that you're having here on what should fly and what shouldn't. And apparently, again, you have put the crown of being the arbiter of truth on yourself and saying, just listen to me because I say these things are not okay. But I will also tell you that the other stuff is okay for reasons. Collective Shout, a small group in Australia, created a stir within the PC gaming community when it targeted Steam, the biggest storefront on the platform, with a campaign that resulted in payment processors such as Visa and Mastercard threatening to pull their service from the platform if Valve didn't remove games depicting sexual violence against women. Valve was forced to comply with the demands of the payment providers and change Steam's policy to reflect the new changes. The response from the gaming community was nothing short of an uproar, with thousands raising concerns that a new precedent had been set, which it has. Valve having to bend the knee to payment providers and ban games that weren't previously against the platform's terms of service. Let's get more to the questions here, what they say. Following the decision and widespread reporting of its impact on the Steam platform, a harassment campaign has been launched towards Collective Shell. For the first part of this, I was giving this guy some credit. I'm like, okay, he's being pretty impartial, this Jack Connor guy. He's just saying, okay, this is what they're saying. This is it. This part is when he turns into, I'm going to narrate the story. You don't say this unless you are a psycho, a journal rat, scum. You don't say these kind of things. A harassment campaign has been launched towards Collective Shout. No, it hasn't. What the hell does that even mean? A harassment campaign? Which the organization is now engaging with lawyers, the FBI, and even the UN in response to threats that include porn, sexual violence, and death threats. It is clear many of the men, hear that, Madam Savvy, defending their rape games perpetrate crimes of violence against women because they are doing it to us right now, Caitlin tells me. Oh my God. I would ask those who view the loss of their rape games as censorship to consider if they are concerned with women's basic human rights. It's a video game, Caitlin, Jack Thompson, and the glorification of male violence against women, Caitlin continued, when asked for her response to those who see Collective Shout's campaign and its impact to censorship. Again, this is her just talking about how she's been the arbiter of truth deciding this against gamers without mentioning anything about the actual game studios behind the scenes making these games in the first place. That's not fair to them. That's what I keep going back to. It's like, now you are impacting the mentality of a developer getting out of college, getting out of design school, and wanting to make a game that challenges the norms. And now they look at this situation right now and be very hesitant. So now it's a soft form of censorship, because just with this happening, they will just not go down that road. Be like, it's not worth it. It's not worth the risk. I'm not going to spend my time and money and investing and making something that may get destroyed the second it comes out. Not worth it. That's not a sustainable business model. I need to sustain my family. I can't make a game like that, which is exactly what these people want. It's crazy. Our work focuses on combating sexual objectification and exploitation of women and girls. Well, didn't you guys stand for cuties and not have an issue with that and say that it was empowerment for the little girls? That's really strange. So we focus our energy there. Do you? Except for cuties. Cuties is okay. Gotcha. We call out this objectification and abusive depictions of women and girls, even where they are not legal. Legality is not the defining factor. It is about documenting evidence of harm to women and girls. It's not. It's pixels on a TV screen. It's not real. It's like draw on a piece of paper. It's not real. Now, if we have like actual photographs of a video of violence against women, then hell yeah, we're going to be like, why? We don't want that. What the hell are we doing? This is crazy. That's insane. This is a video game. We object to the content that harms the status of women and girls, that objectifies and so again, what objectifies a woman? They can never answer this. What's the problem with OnlyFans? Is it empowerment? Is it girl power? Is it feminism that's allowed to succeed without a man? Or is it objectifying a girl and using her looks to grift off of the men out there that throw money at them? Which one is it? I feel like that answer changes depending on what the current climate is for them, and dehumanizes them, regardless of legal or illegal status. In some cases, of course, the content we object to is illegal, as was the case here. No, it wasn't. If it was illegal, it would not have been allowed to be on Steam. So that's a lie. Again, they push lies, talk to it like it's truth, and then say, building off of their house of cards That's why they are continuing their pursuit. And people are like, well, wait, what your previous cards that you just put there, those solid foundation. It's all lies. It's fake. The full interview here, I'm not going to go through this whole thing because holy crap, this would be a 6-hour long video. But the follow-up from this entire situation is going to be very curious because I saw many people in the comment section asking specifically for this Jack Connor person to speak to Madam Savvy, which I think would be fascinating for this guy who clearly shows an angle and a bias toward Collective Shout, how he would frame Madam Savvy's response. And he said to that, I will put this at the top of my to-do list for next week and look into it. Feel free to DM me with any relevant information. Appreciate the tip. And Madam Savvy follows this Jack Connor character as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this. But again, this guy, this Jack Connor guy, he's in the grand scheme a nobody, but making a name for himself with an article pushing and propping up Collective Shout. It's almost like a perfect grift. Penguin Operator says, interview Madam Savvy. It's important to have the other side of the coin since you claimed that to be a non-biased interview. By the way, Jack, Caitlin mentioned this. Payment processors get to determine if they do not want to host illegal content. None of the games removed were illegal. Steam wouldn't have listed them if they were, like I just said. Also, Caitlin said this. I would also ask who view the loss of their rape games and censorship to consider if they are as concerned with women's basic human rights. Fictional character don't have human rights because they are fictional. Oh my God. I can't believe we have to dumb it down to this point, but clearly we do. Jack responded, thank you for the tip. Please feel free to DM me with any information. And he's open for an interview with Madam Savvy. So it sounds to me like this is going to be something that does potentially come to fruition. A lot of people are going to be looking forward to that, as well as myself. So I will definitely be following up on this when and if that interview does happen with Madam Savvy, Chibi Reviews, or hell, even me. I'm all ears for it. But I think Madam Savvy is probably most equipped right now for that conversation. But at this point, I just want anybody to talk to him and say, hey, here's the other side to it. And I know people in the chat are saying, he's a nobody. I get he's a nobody, but even a nobody, it's important to get both sides of. If one of his stories goes viral, it doesn't matter if he's a somebody or a nobody. It's important to get the other side out there. So we'll see what happens with all this. But yeah, for now, I'm going to leave that one there.